Hi everyone, it's Julie here, your pet grief expert. In this video, I'm going to be talking about why there is absolutely no need for you to be embarrassed about getting upset when you are grieving for the death of your pet. I get many clients who come in and they're absolutely distraught. They're upset because their pet died, they're grieving, and then to make it worse, other people don't understand. So they may say things like, oh, well, you'll be over it soon, or they were only a cat, or only a guinea pig, only a dog, or maybe you can go and get another one. Or other people just assume you should get over it really, really quickly. And that leads to embarrassment for the person who's grieving. So, for instance, if you would have somebody else in your family, because let's face it, pets are family, if you'd had someone else in your family that had died, no one would be the least surprised if you broke down in tears occasionally. But for some reason, when it's an animal, other people don't always understand. They don't understand the connection that you might have had, or the decisions you might have had to make, and how guilty or terrible you feel, or just how much you miss them. You know, you go home at night, the pet was always there. Your little fur baby, your animal was always there waiting. Perhaps they used to sleep on the bed with you, or that they used to know when you were upset instinctively and come and comfort you. And other people who didn't have that connection won't understand. And so if you burst into tears because you suddenly think of something that reminds you of your little one, or perhaps you see an animal in the street, a little dog that looks similar to yours, or people are talking about Christmas or birthdays and you're thinking, oh, they're not going to be here this time, and you suddenly burst out crying. Some of my clients get really, really embarrassed with that, and there is no need whatsoever. What other people think or feel about your grief has got more to do with them than to do with you. What other people think and feel has got more to do with everything that's happened in their life to make them the way they are. And so they may not have ever had that kind of connection. Or perhaps, perhaps they did have a pet, but they weren't as close to them as you were, and they were able to get over the grief more quickly. Don't let others' opinions of how you were grieving make you embarrassed. Just think, if they were upset and a member of their family had died, you wouldn't judge them, would you? And so no matter what they think or feel, or what you're worried about they're thinking or feeling, don't be embarrassed to get upset. Don't be embarrassed to talk about it. And if people don't understand, then find somebody else. Go on one of the Facebook forums of, the groups for grieving pets. There's loads of them there. People will understand. Go and see a therapist. If not me, then somebody else. But talk to somebody that understands. Don't be embarrassed about your grief. Don't try and hold it in, because what that does is causes things like depression, anxiety, overeating and drinking, so trying to numb your feelings with alcohol or stuff them down with food so that you're just not thinking about your pet or the grief. If you haven't already made a memorial, do that. Either get some pictures, find a special place in your home or your garden. And if it's in your garden, make sure that it's something you'll be able to move if you move house or home, that you can take with you. Think about all the lovely things you did with your pet and talk to your family if they understand. And if they don't, like I say, find somebody else that does. Don't be embarrassed about your grief. You grieve in the way that is right for you, and the way that you grieve might be completely different to the way somebody else grieves. in one of the other videos, you'll see that I've been talking about personality types. So you might have people in your home that just shed one solitary tear and don't really say anything more about their feelings. And if you're crying your eyes out, and you might think that they don't understand, or maybe they don't understand, but it's just because they grieve differently. Doesn't mean they haven't got any feelings, and it doesn't mean that the way you express your emotions is wrong. It's just different. Have a look at some of the meditations, again, on some of my videos, but also there's lots online, different ones, different YouTube videos. Find something that's right for you. Go somewhere quiet, close your eyes, and think about the happy times you had with your pet. Think how they wouldn't want you to feel as upset as what you are, but that they would also understand, wouldn't they? Do not be embarrassed to grieve. I can't say that enough. Just let yourself show your emotions. If you need to, some people draw pictures or write a diary or write stories about their pet or poems, but get the feelings out somehow, and don't feel as though just because they're an animal that you're not allowed to express your feelings, because they are absolutely part of the family. You know they are. Don't let anybody else just dismiss it. Don't let them make you feel bad for grieving, and don't feel bad. Let your feelings out. If you find, if it's an animal like a dog, or if it's a horse or something like that, someone where you used to go outdoors with, go out and go down the routes that you used to go. Don't avoid them. The more you avoid your feelings and the more you try not to think about it, the worse your grief is going to be, and the longer it's going to take to make you feel better. And you know, feeling better is not something to feel guilty about. Your pet wouldn't want you to be upset. It doesn't mean you love them less if some days you don't think about how upset you are, or if you think about the lovely times you had with them. Whatever is right for you, you grieve in the way that is appropriate for you, and don't be embarrassed about it. And if this sounds like a problem that you have, that you just can't get over the self-consciousness and the embarrassment of crying all the time and other people not understanding, then get in touch. Book a free initial consultation with me, or have a look at some of the other videos. Go on some of the pet groups on Facebook. Whatever is right for you, do it, but don't deny yourself the grief, and don't feel embarrassed because you are grieving. And I hope this has helped you, just even if it's just the tiniest bit.